Before she died, my mother told me and my older sister that if one day one of us was bullied, then the other must not be soft-hearted, must by all means claim justice for the other. Therefore, when my sister Shen Jiwei, who had lived with me for 18 years, because she accidentally stained the vest of a young master from the chief family in high society and was beaten to death on his private yacht, I did not cry or scream, just silently did two things. First, I investigated. The person that young master Chi loved the most was Su Nianan, CEO of the Su Group. Second, I found every way to become Su Nianan's personal assistant. In the late night at the luxurious Marriott Hotel, I supported Su Nianan, staggering toward the presidential suite at the end of the hallway. The woman beside me had drunk quite a bit today. Her delicate, beautiful face blushed slightly, eyes tightly shut, breath still carrying the strong scent of alcohol. I skillfully swiped the card to open the door, one hand taking out Su Nianan's phone from her purse, called the number pinned at the top of her contacts. When the other end answered, I deliberately let go, causing the woman to accidentally embrace me, falling heavily onto the bed behind, and this sound heard from the other end carried a different meaning. Sure enough, the person on the other end was immediately triggered. Nianan, where are you? Is there a man with you? Is that so? Before the person on the other end completely lost it, I promptly hung up. Everyone in high society knows how much Ji Yanqiu loves Su Nianan. They are childhood sweethearts who grew up together. Although Su Nianan is a cold and self-controlled person, loyal and devoted, in her heart there is only Ji Yanqiu, always keeping distance from other men, but he still doesn't feel secure. From childhood to adulthood, never allowing any man to come near her within 3 meters. Love too much leads to overprotection. If one day he completely loses her, I am afraid he will go completely insane, and that's exactly what I want. Now I deliberately create a misunderstanding. I fear that in less than half an hour, he will rush here with fierce momentum. I slightly curve my lips, then place the phone aside, went to the bathroom to wet a towel before going to the living room. I deliberately unbuttoned 2 buttons in front. The beautiful woman on the bed was still sound asleep. I stepped forward and bent down, gently approaching her, wiping her face. Indeed worthy of being. The untouchable flower at the peak of Haithan City. Refined features. Exquisite beauty. Any man who sees her would be moved. But what I want isn't that simple. I increased the pressure in my hand. The woman frowned, then opened her eyes. After clearly seeing the face of the person in front of her, her eyes immediately cooled several degrees. She hurriedly grabbed my hand. What are you doing? I was like a startled little deer, avoiding and backing away a bit. CEO Su, you drank too much. I just recently joined the company. I don't know where you live. Had to open a room on the floor above the banquet hall for you to rest. Afraid you wouldn't sleep comfortably, so I used a wet towel to wipe your face. After hearing my explanation, Su Nianan's expression softened a bit, holding her chest and taking a breath. Lowering her eyes, her gaze accidentally fell on me. Sensing her gaze, I hurriedly clutched my collar in confusion. Outside, urgent knocking suddenly rang out just in time. You in there, come out now. Dare to have designs on my person. Want to die, don't you? Open the door. I jumped off the bed in panic, lowering my voice, hurriedly begging Su Nianan. CEO Su, don't let Mr. G know I am in here. We are a man and woman sharing a room. No matter what we say, Mr. G won't believe us anyway. If he sees me in here, I won't be able to keep my job. Please, can you? My small face pale, looking even more weak and helpless. Su Nianan frowned, agreeing to my request. I felt relieved, hurriedly ran to the bathroom to hide. I looked at myself in the mirror. The weakness disappeared in an instant. Ji Yangqiu, the good show is about to begin. You must take your cue well. The door opened. Ji Yangqiu angrily rushed in. He looked around once, but saw only Su Nianan alone. The anger in his chest dissipated a bit. Now he noticed Su Nianan's slightly haggard face. Hurriedly worried, he supported her. Nianan, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well somewhere? Su Nianan raised her slender pale fingers, gently rubbing her temples. Her voice cold. Tonight I drank several glasses at the banquet, so open a room upstairs to rest. Who gossiped about me to you, making you upset? Ji Yanqiu was somewhat embarrassed. I looked at him, my lips revealing a smile, his eyes constantly scanning all 4 sides. No one else? I just came to check. It's just that you're too beautiful. In Haithan, there are so many men who desire you. If I am not vigilant, one day, if someone steals you away, I wouldn't know where to cry. Su Nianan smiled lightly, helplessly, resting her head on his chest. Yanqiu, who is in my heart, don't you know, all these years, have I ever looked at another man? Su Nianan is usually very cold, since I started working. I've never seen her be so gentle. It seems she truly loves Ji Yanqiu. Su Nianan's words finally made Ji Yanqiu completely let down his guard. Any remaining doubts in his heart were also dispelled by her gentle voice. He helped her sit on the nearby sofa. You've drunk a lot, so rest well. I won't disturb you anymore. Having said this, Ji Yanqiu turned to leave. The next second, a boom suddenly sounded from the bathroom. Ji Yanqiu immediately frowned tightly. His sharp eyes swept toward the bathroom. Who's in there? No one inside answered. He immediately intended to go in. In this critical situation, Su Nianan stood up, went to his side, hugged him tightly. I was about to take a shower. So, I turned on the shower. Perhaps now the shower head fell down. I've already said, there's only me here. You don't believe me. Ji Yanqiu fondly stroked her head. How could I not believe you? I am leaving now. Don't be angry. In front of Sun Yanan, the young master of the Ji family who always stands high in high society, could humble himself like this. I coldly curved my lips. The more he cares for Sun Yanan, the more I want to make him suffer. When the door closed with a thump, Sun Yanan's cold voice sounded again. Come out. I walked barefoot, carefully stepped out. Just now, I deliberately turned on the shower, getting myself half wet. Now my short fluffy hair slightly stuck to my forehead, like a little deer just running out from the forest, fresh and innocent. Sun Yanan swept her eyes over the man in front of her, her gaze cold and indifferent. Seeing this, I hurriedly lowered my head, my demeanor both respectful and tense. CEO Su, just now I accidentally touched the shower. Sorry, it wasn't intentional. Sun Yanan coldly spoke. You're very afraid of him. I bit my lower lip, wanting to speak but stopping. I am just afraid, but I am more afraid of losing my job. This job is extremely important to me. Having said this, I seemed afraid she would ask more. Without waiting for her to speak, I hurriedly said goodbye. About today. Thank you. I won't disturb your rest anymore. I'll go first. As soon as the words were finished, I took my coat and hurriedly pushed the door to leave, reaching the lower floor. I was about to take out my phone to call a car. The Rolls-Royce exclusively for Sun Yanan slowly stopped in front of me. The driver got out and opened the door, greeting me. Mr. Shen, the CEO told me to take you home. I was stunned for a moment, then opened the car door and got in. Today's act. I am sure I have attracted Sun Yanan's attention. It's just that she's inherently hard to read. With deep thoughts, I still can't be careless. In the following days, I acted as if nothing had happened. Calmly did my work. Even when meeting Sun Yanan, I remained respectful and distant as usual. And Ji Yanqiu came to the company to see me several times. After leaving Sun Yanan's office, towards me, he developed a strong hostility, because he never knew. Besides Sun Yanan, there was also such a handsome man hidden. I never doubted my appearance. From childhood to adulthood, I have received no small amount of preferential treatment because of my looks, and this handsome appearance to Ji Yanqiu is a big threat. Therefore, every time he came to the company, he found ways to give me trouble, ordering me to buy coffee for him, deliberately splashing water on me, dirtying my documents, making me work overtime until very late. These childish tricks, I never minded. Also never said a word to Sun Yanan, but every time I was bullied, I accidentally let her see it. That night, Sun Yanan finished her meeting and left the company. When passing by my position, looking at the man working attentively under the lamp, she unconsciously paused. In her eyes flashed, but did nothing, just directly left. I smiled. Over the past few days, Ji Yanqiu's behavior had planted a sharp thorn in her heart. Next, I need to add another fire. The next day, I had just sat down at my position, when I was suddenly slapped hard across the face. I was hit and fell to the ground, my cheek still stinging with pain. Above my head rang the angry and venomous curses of Ji Yanqiu. I've long seen that you're someone who doesn't know your place. Just as I predicted, to climb to a higher branch. So shameless. Today, I'll let you know the price to pay for offending me. I held my cheek, looking up at the newcomer with grievance. Mr. Ji, I don't know what you're talking about. At this moment, I appeared even more pitiful. Ji Yanqiu became even more uncontrollably angry. You still dare to pretend in front of me. The sandalwood scent on your clothes, you deliberately left it, didn't you? You think? I don't know. I shook my head in panic. Not me, I didn't. Mr. Ji, you misunderstood. Misunderstood? Ji Yanqiu laughed coldly. Another hard slap came toward me. In the whole company, only you use this perfume, and you still dare to deny it. You dress so nicely and handsomely every day. Is it to seduce Nianan? Right. Now acting innocent in front of me. Why is that? The commotion between the two quickly attracted the attention of others in the company. People surrounded me in the crowd, whispering non-stop. I said he wasn't a good person, using his handsome face to seduce CEO Su. How hateful. That's right. Perhaps even when first joining the company. It was also based on his looks. I explained helplessly. I really didn't. I don't have any thoughts about CEO Su. Mr. Ji, you've really misunderstood. Ji Yanqiu was so angry he wouldn't listen, grabbing my collar. Then, dragged me to the door. You kneel here for me. Let everyone see what kind of person you really are. Having said that, he then ordered the bodyguards following him, strip his clothes for me. Anyway, he knows no shame. Today I want him to have no face to stay here anymore. Words just finished. Two people immediately came forward to pull at my clothes. I curled up in fear, desperately begging. It really wasn't me. Mr. Ji, you've really misunderstood. But no matter how miserably I begged, Ji Yanqiu had absolutely no intention of letting me go. The bodyguards forcefully pulled at my clothes. I struggled violently, my eyes red as if about to bleed. Enough. A cold voice immediately cut off this farce. The main door opened. Sun Yanan took long strides, step by step approaching everyone. Around her emanated a powerful field, making everyone involuntarily shudder. I looked up at her, my eyes immediately covered with a white mist. CEO Su, my cheeks were slightly red, the clothes on my body were pulled, looking somewhat disheveled, but displaying a weak and elegant appearance. Clearly, I didn't say anything, but it was as if I had said everything. Sun Yanan's eyes flashed. The assistant beside her immediately took off his jacket, draped it over me. Ji Yanqiu beside was unwilling, about to speak, but was beaten to it by Sun Yanan. Yanqiu, The scent of perfume on the clothes was accidentally spilled by the housekeeper. If you don't believe it, you can check the surveillance camera. Ji Yanqiu was stunned, then blinked with remorse, immediately grabbed her hand and flattered her. Nianen, sorry, it's just that I care too much about you. Next time, I won't be like this. Don't be angry, okay? Su Nianen's eyes lowered slightly, but perhaps because she loved him too much, still said, nothing, just told the assistant to take him home. After everyone dispersed, she bent down and glanced at me, still kneeling on the ground. Come to my office. In the CEO's office. First, I coldly sent a text message to the housekeeper. Well done. I'll transfer the money today. Then when Su Nianen turned around, secretly hid my phone to the side, sat on the sofa trembling. Su Nianen looked at the figure before her. In her heart, an unexplained strange feeling arose. She retracted the sharpness in her eyes, speaking gently. About today, it was Yangshu who wronged you. I apologize on his behalf. He's just a bit arrogant in character. No bad intentions. Don't take it to heart. No bad intentions. I laughed coldly inside, finding it extremely ironic. Currently no bad intentions. He has humiliated me in front of so many people. If he did have bad intentions, wouldn't I end up with the same fate as my sister? A man like that, not only cruel, but also vicious. In Su Nianen's eyes, just a few gentle words. Does she know? My sister was killed by Ji Yangqiu. That was the sister who raised me to adulthood. To buy the game console I wanted. At the construction site, had her hands scratched all over without care, despite excellent grades. Guaranteed admission to a foreign university. But to take care of me, willingly gave up her education. Took the most difficult jobs, the family though poor. But my sister never let me feel the hardships of life. Such a good sister. I will never see again. Thinking of my sister, the tears in my eyes welled up unstoppably. I won't blame Mr. G, nor blame you. I just hope that in the future, Mr. G won't misunderstand me again, so I can work at ease in this position. Looking at my weak appearance, Su Nianen couldn't help but frown. Is this job so important to you? My eyes sparkled like water. Very important. My parents passed away when I was very young. It was my sister who gave up her studies, raised me to adulthood. But 1 year ago, my sister also passed away because of education. The family still owes quite a bit of money. Therefore, I cannot lose this job. Hearing this, Su Nianen's eyes lowered. Asked no more. Calm down first. Later you can go out. I nodded, leaning on the sofa. Not long after, cried myself to sleep. Handsome men. Su Nianen had seen countless. Her cold eyes had no other emotions. But when seeing my fair, handsome face, still with sparkling tears, her eyes involuntarily flashed. She took the nearby blanket and covered me, half kneeling in front of me. Cold demeanor, just as she was about to stand up. The sleeping man suddenly grabbed her hand, crying and placing her hand on his face. Sister, don't. Su Nianen paused, hesitated for a moment, then gently withdrew her hand. A few days later, Su Nianen was invited to attend a business party. As her assistant, I naturally went along. Ji Yangqiu, when seeing me at the party, although inwardly how angry, but because Su Nianen was present, could only grit his teeth and pretend to be magnanimous. He tried to keep an eye on me, but unexpectedly, after just a few drinks, he became drowsy. Had to say goodbye to Su Nianen, then went upstairs to rest first. Watching Ji Yanqiu leave, my lips coldly curved upward. Of course, he would get drunk and leave early. Earlier, when he asked me to get wine, I took the opportunity when no one was paying attention to secretly put quite a bit of sleeping pills in it. Now without him by her side getting in the way, everything will be much more convenient. At the party, quite a few people invited Su Nianen to drink. In a good mood, she hardly refused anyone. Although her alcohol tolerance was very good, she was already a bit unsteady. I helped her sit down at the side, conveniently poured a glass of water intending to give it to her. Unexpectedly, my hand slipped. The entire glass directly spilled on her. I took paper towels, hands fumbling to wipe. But Su Nianen, with her hurried breath, grabbed my wrist tightly. Don't move. Being scolded like that, my whole body froze. Only now did I realize the water spilled in the wrong place. I hurriedly stepped back a few steps. Sorry. I'll go get you clean clothes. Su Nianen's face cold, almost gritting her teeth. No need, you go ahead. I dared not look at her anymore. Hurriedly put the room card from my pocket onto her table. Hurriedly left, leaving the banquet room. I directly took the elevator to floor 33. The room card given to her was Ji Yangqiu's room, except Ji Yangqiu had already been arranged by me to be taken away. I changed clothes and lay on the bed, then turned off the lights. Half an hour later, Su Nianen indeed used the room card to open the door. She didn't turn on the lights, staggeringly walked in, taking off her coat. The air diffused a fragrant sandalwood scent, making her unconsciously reach out to embrace the person sleeping soundly. She bent down to hold the person beside her, her voice gentle and pleasant to the ear. Yangqiu, the bodies of the two drew closer and closer. The atmosphere in the room suddenly rose. Right at the moment of deep feelings, Su Nianen's shoulder was pushed back by a large soft hand. CEO Su, in the darkness. The breathing of both people immediately stopped. Su Nianen's drunkenness half-sobered. She abruptly widened the distance between them, conveniently turning on the bedside lamp. When the light came on, I immediately fumbled to grab the blanket, tensely curled up in the corner. Su Nianen's voice was cold as ice. Why is it you? I hugged myself tightly, my body still trembling slightly, as if very afraid. not daring to look up. I drank too much. My head is a bit dizzy, so I came upstairs to rest. Mr. G wasn't feeling well. He had already gone home. I didn't know you would come. Although I used the blanket to cover my body, it was still difficult to hide. The kiss marks just left on my neck. Sun Yanan frowned tightly, saying nothing more, grabbed her coat and hurriedly left, watching her figure hurriedly leaving. A smug smile appeared on my face. I already knew Sun Yanan cared about my body. Otherwise, she wouldn't have lost control like that. Wouldn't have so forcefully wanted to possess me like that. I must step by step, make her heart completely lean toward me. In the following days, I avoided Sun Yanan whenever I saw her, even when I had work and was forced to see her. I absolutely would not look directly into her eyes. My behavior like this instead made Sun Yanan curious about me. This man repeatedly pretended to be weak in front of her. Gaining sympathy was deliberately attracting her attention. Why is he now avoiding her? Sun Yanan looked at my figure, coldly curving her lips. Interesting. That day, Yang Qiu came again. Tanyu group, different from usual was. He didn't go find Sun Yanan, but directly called me to the restroom, took a shoe polish bottle from his bag, casually, put his foot on the tea table beside Assistant Shen to attract Nianan's attention. You're willing to do degrading things, since that's the case. Helping me polish my shoes isn't too much, right, these days. He thought of all ways to torment me, all kinds of means. I couldn't conveniently conflict directly with him, could only sit down, half kneeling in front of him, starting to do as he demanded. I polished his shoes, but he already intended to give me a hard time. How could he easily let me be comfortable? In just a moment, he used the excuse that I wasn't being sincere, kicked me, and I fell to the ground. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Such a bastard. No wonder you're so good at winning over women. I knelt on the ground continuously apologizing, but he wouldn't let go. Took the shoe polish and directly poured it on me. I see. You should use nail polish to cover the poor smell on your body. Then he took the cups on the table, continuously throwing them at me, rolling from my eyes. My forehead reddened. The back of my hand was also cut by glass shards on the ground, but I said nothing. Just cleaned up the trash on the ground, limped out, in the bathroom. I looked at myself in distress, but the corner of my mouth curved into a smile. What does this humiliation matter? The more Ji Yangqiu hates me, the more he tortures me. The more he pushes Sun Yanan toward me. I couldn't ask for more. Ji Yangqiu, you are such a fool. I will definitely take away everything that belongs to you. Just wait, coming out of the bathroom. I took documents I had prepared long ago to give to Sun Yanan, gently knocked on her office door. Like all previous times, I put down the documents intending to hurriedly leave. Just as I turned, I accidentally bumped into a chair, instead attracting Sun Yanan's gaze. Sorry, CEO. I'll leave right away. I bowed, intending to hurriedly leave. Sun Yanan was faster. One hand pulled me back. Are you avoiding me? Before her question, my handsome face flushed red. I'm not avoiding. Sun Yanan narrowed her long eyes, looking at the person in front of her from top to bottom. On the neck, there was still shoe polish, not washed clean. The forehead also had an impact wound. The back of the hand was also injured. Looked like being bullied. I have eyes. I can see. Having said this, she pulled me to the sofa. My entire body completely stiffened. After reacting, struggling, wanting to run away. The more I avoided like this, the more interesting Sun Yanan found it. She sighed lightly, told me to sit properly on the sofa, took from the drawer beside an ointment box, took some to apply on my forehead and the back of my hand, then gently rubbed it in. After this series of actions, I became even more embarrassed and blushing. CEO Su, I really have no intentions toward you. I just want to do my job well. Proactively telling Sun Yanan I wasn't interested in her. I was the first man. Sun Yanan's hand that was applying the bandage stopped. In her heart, she couldn't help but feel a bit strange. If on her face, she couldn't help but smile. Is that so? Did I say I was interested in you? You are my employee. Taking care of you is what I should do. Moreover, I know this is related to Yang Qiu. Hearing these words, I was stunned. Then the corners of my eyes suddenly reddened. Sun Yanan froze, not knowing which of her words had touched me. Really a young man fresh out of school. A little thing and he feels wronged. Outside suddenly came a knock on the door, breaking this strange atmosphere. I hurriedly stood up from the sofa in panic, then ran out like escaping. Sorry, CEO Su. I'll go work first. Sun Yanan didn't stop me, just looked in the direction I left. Expression hard to read, near the end of work. Sun Yanan walked past my position. Someone called, and just when I wasn't present, she stepped to my desk, about to pick up the phone. Her eyes were instead attracted by a photo pressed under the keyboard. It was a yellowed photo. Looking at it, you could tell it had been around for some time. Turning it over to look, only then discovering the person in the photo was her. Sun Yanan frowned, sat down in my chair. The computer screen lit up. The chat window happened to be me talking with brothers. The other person continuously sent me several messages. Hey Oming, I am telling you don't withdraw. It was so difficult to get into the Tanyu group, become Sun Yanan's assistant. Giving up now. What about all the time you wasted before? How many years have you liked her? For her, you took the Kim University exam. Again, for her, you overcame 5 barriers and cut down 6 generals. Finally came to Tanyu to work. This dedication. In the end, you can't not tell her. Sun Yanan wanted to see more. Besides, suddenly a pair of hands frantically grabbed the keyboard, closed the chat window. Sun Yanan looked at me panicking in front of her, raised the photo in her hand. Assistant Shen, Is this what you call not being interested in me? The color of my face immediately changed greatly. CEO Su, I'm sorry. I know you already have someone you like, so I never hoped you would like me. Therefore, I just need to be by your side. Looking at you from afar is enough. Never hoping to achieve anything, causing trouble for you. I am very sorry. Having said this, I grabbed the photo, frantically leaving. Been seen by Sunyanan, looking at me with such sincere feelings. Even the cold-hearted Sunyanan, at this moment in her heart, couldn't help but be moved a little, looking at my figure leaving. The emotion in Sunyanan's eyes, again, added a silent part. That incident, though just a small segment, but the relationship between Nyanan and me clearly became a bit closer. The daily interactions. She also led me to participate in all of them. That day, I noticed she had stomach pain. Early prepared stomach medicine. Watching her take it, only then felt at ease. At the party, someone wanted to invite Sunyanan to drink, concerned about her health. My normal alcohol capacity had to be stubborn, glass by glass taking all those drinks. Everyone seeing me protect Sunyanan like this couldn't help but tease. CEO Su, your assistant is really responsible, really not letting you touch a drop of alcohol. Where did you find such a handsome assistant? So envious. There was even someone drunk to the point of tipsy. On one side, inviting drinks. On one side, intending to start getting handsy with me. I said, CEO Su, why don't you give Haoming to me? In the future, the cooperation between our two companies will be smooth. I was a bit scared and backed away, but also didn't firmly refuse. Seeing the rich woman's actions becoming more bold, even directly linking arms with me, Sunyanan's face immediately cooled. She stood up and pulled me back, her tone carrying a few parts of displeasure. Enough. Did you come here for business negotiation, or did you come to play with men? The other person, seeing Sunyanan angry, dared not be presumptuous anymore. Hurriedly drank several glasses in succession. On the way back, I was a bit drunk, leaning against the window, both complaining about the heat, and unsteadily raising my hand to unbutton my collar, revealing firm abs. Sunyanan's eyes darkened, immediately pulled up the curtain in front of the car. In her head continuously appeared the scene from that night, when she went to the wrong room, her heart burning hot. Sunyanan couldn't help but swallow. She hugged me to her chest, her eyes gradually approaching mine. Do you want to go with that woman just now? I felt extremely wronged. I don't want to. Sunyanan once again pulled closer the distance between the two. Why don't you want to see me? I said nothing. She pulled my body even more into her embrace, until the two were almost completely pressed together, the breathing of both people getting closer and closer. Just as the lips were about to touch, a sharp phone ring broke this ambiguous atmosphere. Sunyanan let me go to answer the phone, just lightly a few times, then told the driver to take me home, and got out of the car herself. After the car drove away, I slowly sat up. The person who just called was Ji Yanqiu. I could hear his voice on the other end. For Ji Yanqiu, she would still leave because of a phone call. It seems now Sunyanan is just interested in me. Next, need to light another fire. I already had a plan. A few days later, Sunyanan took me on a business trip together. The car passed through an intersection. A truck, out of control, without warning, rushed toward our car. In this hair's breadth moment, I, without hesitation, rushed towards Sunyanan. CEO Su, Sunyanan, unbelievably watched me rush in front of her. She was well protected, while I was bleeding profusely. This accident, Sunyanan, in the dangerous position, only suffered minor injuries, while I was severely injured and sent to emergency surgery. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. Seeing Sunyanan appear before me, I immediately worried, asked about her condition. CEO Su, are you all right? Are you injured? Does it hurt anywhere? Looking at me just waking from a coma, already caring about her safety like this. In Sunyanan's heart, as if a great tsunami surged. This person loves her to this extent. In his heart, her safety is even more important than his life. During the days in the hospital, Sunyanan hired someone to take care of me. After all, I was injured because of Sunyanan, so she also often came to visit. In the hospital for several days, I still hadn't showered. Today, I really couldn't bear it. Taking the opportunity, when I could walk, finally had a comfortable hot bath, but my right hand was bandaged. Now putting on clothes became a problem. I stood behind the door, tried several times to pull the remaining half of the shirt up, but no matter how I tried, I couldn't reach. Just then there were footsteps at the door. Thinking it was the caretaker returning, hurriedly called for help. Brother Hao, I am so glad you're back. Help me quickly. The footsteps of the person coming gradually approached. When the cold fingertips touched my skin, I felt something was wrong. Suddenly turned my head. The person standing behind me was Sunyanan. I was stunned. My face immediately turned red at a speed visible to the naked eye. The next second I reacted, hurriedly turned away. CEO Sunyanan's eyes darkened several degrees. Firmly grasped my arm, told me to turn around. Then one hand skillfully helped me put on the shirt, buttoned it up. After completing these actions, I embarrassingly scratched my head. CEO Su, sorry to trouble you. I can do the rest myself. Words just finished. Sunyanan directly supported me. Slowly walked to the hospital bed. I lowered my head, not daring to look at her. Embarrassment to the bone. The more embarrassed I was, the deeper the smile on Sunyanan's lips. She pulled me to sit on the bed. Rest well. Wait until you're better to return to the company. Having said this, Sunyanan left. I looked at her slender back, coldly curved my lips. Slightly. Perhaps because I was hospitalized. The news of Sunyanan visiting several times leaked out. As soon as I was discharged, Ji Yangqiu immediately came looking for me. He threw the suit in his hand down in front of me, expression arrogant and vicious. In Nianen's heart, there is only me. I advise you to give up early. You approached her not for money. I'll introduce you to a good opportunity. Even prepared clothes for you, as long as you go to meet. The day of climbing to a high branch is near. At that time, don't forget to thank me. I, on one side, looked wronged, humiliated, shaking my head. Mr. G, you misunderstood. I am not that kind of person. I also don't have those thoughts. I just want to work well. Please don't force me to go meet. I refuse. Ji Yanqiu immediately changed color. Don't be unreasonable. This matchmaking attendance. You go, you have to go. Not go, you also have to go. I warn you, if you don't go. Tomorrow, I will make you completely ruined in all of Haithan City. No face to stay beside Nianen anymore. Being threatened like this, I pretended to be forced, reluctantly agreed. After changing clothes, I looked at myself in the mirror. Indeed talented, handsome, and good-looking. I deliberately sent a message asking for leave to the assistant. Assistant Li, tonight I have a matchmaking date. Cannot refuse. The party is at Marriott. Please go with CEO Su in my place, in the CEO's office. Su Nianen coldly looked at Assistant Li standing in front of her, her tone carrying difficult to detect anger. You say Shen Haoming? Tonight is going matchmaking. On the way to the hotel, Su Nianen's eyebrows almost frowned into a cross shape, the dark clouds on her face rolling in, making anyone who saw step back 3 steps. Assistant Li had followed Su Nianen for many years, understood better than anyone. At this moment, her CEO absolutely could not be easily provoked. The car stopped in front of the hotel. She got out of the car and went outside. At the crowded hotel entrance, she just needed one look. Immediately saw the young man who said he was going matchmaking. Now, I was wearing a well-tailored suit, looking truly handsome and elegant, in my gestures exuding a gentleman's bearing. Beside was a plump, wealthy woman, holding my arm, continuously pulling me into the hotel. Su Nianen's eyes grew increasingly dark, and anger erupted in her heart, the flames of anger burning stronger and stronger, almost burning her entire being. Even she didn't know why she was so angry, but just thinking about me being held by another woman, she was angry to the point of going crazy. She took large steps toward the 2 people, one hand pulling me away from that woman's arms. Come with me. I had no time to react. Had already been pulled straight toward the elevator. Hey, who are you? By what right do you steal my man? Behind, the wealthy woman cursed as she came up to stop us, but was held back by Assistant Lai. The elevator quickly went up. The dim light shone on Su Nianen's exceptionally beautiful face. She pulled me straight to the presidential suite at the end of the hallway, forcefully pulled me inside. I fell onto the bed. Su Nianen grabbed my chin, her eyes cold to the point of scary. Matchmaking, how old are you? For money you corrupt yourself like this. I continuously shook my head, my eyes wet, looking even more extremely pitiful. No, I am not meeting her for money. Su Nianen paused, continued interrogating, then for what? But I just grievously shook my head. CEO, Su, please don't ask anymore. If Mr. G knows, he will be angry. Su Nianen's eyes grew even colder. It was him who forced you. Mentioning Ji Yanqiu, I appeared even more frightened. It has nothing to do with Mr. G. Please don't go find him. Can you? I'll go. I'll go right away. When I return, I'll write a resignation letter. Won't bother Mr. G and you anymore. As I spoke, I intended to stand up, but before I could sit up straight, my entire body was pulled back by a pure white hand, strongly pulled back. I fell onto her. I panicked, anxiously struggling, but made the person beside me breathe even more heavily. CEO Su, let me go. If you're like this, Mr. G won't spare me. All words were swallowed by a strong and domineering kiss, almost kissed to the point of suffocation, pretending to be surprised and struggling, but was kissed even more strongly. The next second, a pair of slender hands, without hesitation, unbuttoned my shirt. At that moment I smiled. The fish had taken the bait. After a night of entanglement, the air filled with the scent of joy. Su Nianen lay in my arms. My strong arms locked her entirely in my embrace. CEO Su, what exactly is our relationship now? You already have a fiancé. We are just a mistake. This topic was something the two could not avoid. Speaking to the end, my voice became choked. You and Mr. G are the engaged couple. I deliberately reminded her of this fact. Or just forget everything that happened yesterday. Just consider it a dream. We still have to return to the starting point. Rest assured, I won't bother you both. Since taking this step yesterday, Su Nianen had understood in her heart. The bow has been drawn and cannot return. She couldn't let me bear everything alone. She gently stroked my face, firmly said, I will handle Yanqiu's matter. I will cancel the engagement. I absolutely won't let you be wronged anymore. Su Nianen said painfully. During this time, you have suffered many grievances. Su Nianen clearly understood in her heart. Ji Yanqiu's character and temperament were not good, and I had a soft personality. In front of Ji Yanqiu, I must have endured many times. Su Nianen would not forgive Ji Yanqiu. I emotionally hugged her tightly. It's okay. With you here, I no longer feel wronged. Su Nianen couldn't help but soften her heart, like comforting a child, consolingly patting my back. The two tidied up and left the presidential suite, but ran into red-eyed Ji Yanqiu. If there weren't several bodyguards beside Ji Yanqiu, restraining him, I am afraid he would have crazily rushed over. You bastard! Are you so greedy? Are you so lacking in women? Ji Yanqiu continuously lunged forward, hating not being able to beat me to a pulp. Nianen, tell them to release me quickly. Is it that this man is forcing you? Did he drug you? I will make him completely ruined. I will make him disappear from this world. Ji Yanqiu angrily spoke incoherently, completely disregarding his image as he shouted. Fortunately, this was the presidential suite, one floor with only 2 rooms. One room belonged exclusively to Su Nianen. The other room was empty. No matter how much noise Ji Yanqiu made, in the end he didn't attract any spectators. Those bodyguards were all arranged by Assistant Lai, not particularly skilled in martial arts, but to restrain Ji Yanqiu, a young master raised in luxury, was really too easy. I stayed close behind Su Nianen. My cautious demeanor made her heart ache. Compared to Ji Yanqiu's shouting image, the difference was immediately clear. Su Nianen irritably said to Ji Yanqiu, "Enough. Mr. Ji, stop making a scene. The marriage between the Ji and Su families I need to reconsider. Your manner really isn't suitable to be the Su family's son-in-law. The cancellation of the engagement, I will have someone arrange it properly." Su Nianen's few brief sentences made Ji Yanqiu completely collapse, but what made him collapse even more was me, standing behind Su Nianen, accidentally pulling at my collar, the faint red marks on my neck and collarbone visible, enough to show the passion between the two of us last night. Ji Yanqiu was jealous to the point of madness. "Impossible. We cannot cancel the engagement. Nianen, you belong to me. Forever. Only to me alone." He had almost cried dry of tears, but received not a single sympathetic glance from Su Nianen, instead only full of annoyance. Ji Yanqiu shouted, "It's you. It's all because of you instigating the relationship between me and Nianen. If only there wasn't you, it would be good." He revealed a vicious look, as if wanting to chop me into 1,000 pieces. Just his eyes alone seemed to want to kill me 100 times. No matter how he struggled, he still couldn't escape the restraint of the bodyguards. Ji Yanqiu looked at me, hugging Su Nianen and walking past him, not giving him a single glance. He collapsed and screamed loudly. Almost the entire floor could hear clearly. I heard this sound. A feeling of satisfaction flashed in my heart. Ji Yanqiu, so you also have a day of such desperate collapse. The pain you are currently enduring is still far from a small fraction of the pain my sister once suffered. Everything you have done will be repaid bit by bit. I followed Su Nianen to the shopping mall. Su Nianen picked out quite a few clothes and accessories for me. Really very thoughtful. I am not stupid. Of course I wouldn't say words begging for Ji Yanqiu at this time. Everything has limits. Too full will cause loss. Too intentional is easily detected by Su Nianen. Many things certainly need Su Nianen to investigate herself. The attack force will be stronger. I enjoyed the scene of Su Nianen choosing clothes for me. Also, like a child, wearing a nice outfit. Had to come before the adult to show off. Seeing my different styles, Su Nianen was very satisfied in her heart. Such a wonderful person was hers. She temporarily forgot everything related to Ji Yanqiu. Previously, Su Nianen only thought Ji Yanqiu was merely a bit arrogant and whimsical, a bit jealous, not causing any major impact. But now she realized Ji Yanqiu wasn't that simple. Before, Su Nianen also recruited several capable male assistants. The secretary office wasn't just one person, also didn't just serve her alone. In her eyes, as long as they were capable, gender was completely unimportant. But Ji Yanqiu was different. He had extremely strong jealousy. Any male creature appearing beside Su Nianen had to suffer his bullying. The previous male assistants were all forced to leave like that. I could say I was the longest-serving male. Previously, Su Nianen didn't care about these things. Of course, also just viewed Ji Yanqiu's behavior as a little game, just feeling it had no major impact. Once Su Nianen developed suspicions, many things deliberately concealed would also become clear. I trusted Su Nianen. She absolutely wouldn't like such a man. Indeed, under my intentionally unintentional revelations, Ji Yanqiu's matters completely couldn't pass investigation. News that the Su family intended to cancel the engagement spread everywhere. The Ji family once rose because of the Su family, now also had to gradually return to their original position. Without the fiancé status of the Su family's head, Yanqiu could not be as willful as before. He was truly afraid. The engagement cancellation party between Su Nianen and Ji Yanqiu invited quite a few people to witness, but the male host of the party was locked up by the Ji family. Ji Yanqiu absolutely refused to agree to cancel the engagement with Su Nianen, but the Su family had already notified the Ji family. The Ji family felt humiliated, but also couldn't resist. No way, the Ji family wasn't equal to the Su family, even had to rely on the Su family to develop better. Initially, the marriage was certain. The Ji family could also take the opportunity of the alliance between the two families to advance a step, but now it's fine. The marriage cancelled. No benefits. The Ji family, looking at Ji Yanqiu, also felt angry that iron couldn't become steel. They had told him more than once, with Ji Yanqiu's arrogant character, told him not to have such a strong possessiveness. For a woman like Su Nianen, don't be too strict. Work always meets all kinds of men. If even normal conversation with men wasn't allowed, then the Su family wouldn't know how many business cooperations to cancel. But Ji Yanqiu wouldn't listen. Even though now he was locked up, Ji Yanqiu still wouldn't behave. Hunger strike, suicide attempts, all kinds of tactics, just to get out of the house, then tell everyone he wouldn't cancel the engagement. But the people sent to watch over Ji Yangqiu were professionals, absolutely not giving Ji Yanqiu any opportunity for suicide, even if he wanted a hunger strike. There were also people who periodically injected him with supplements. Ji Yangqiu stood by the window, could vaguely hear the polite voices of Sun Yan'an and her stepfather. He heard them say the engagement between the two families was peacefully dissolved, but cooperation between the companies would continue as usual. Peaceful dissolution of engagement. Ji Yangqiu clutched the windowsill tightly, eyes bulging red. Ninan, I don't agree to dissolve our engagement. I cannot let you and that white-faced guy be together. Don't you all dream. He saw me standing beside Sun Yan'an, the two extremely intimate, hating not being able to jump down from the building, to separate the two of us. Seeing Sun Yan'an withdraw the engagement ring of the two, Ji Yangqiu couldn't bear another moment. He disregarded the restraint of people around him, trying to jump down, to stop this engagement cancellation party, but jumping halfway. Ji Yanqiu's clothes got caught. No matter how he tried, he couldn't escape. Ji Yanqiu's room was on the 3rd floor. Looking down was still a bit high. The impulsive action was stopped. He no longer had the courage as before. Ji Yangqiu stood on the windowsill, couldn't go up, couldn't go down either. Quickly save me down. Don't you have eyes? He grabbed the curtain tightly without letting go. Tears had long since flowed out, but the bodyguard standing beside was cold, only using a fabric strip to tightly bind Ji Yanqiu's hand, the other end of the strip in his hand, the bodyguard while ensuring Ji Yanqiu wouldn't fall down, also temporarily not rescuing him up. At this moment, Ji Yanqiu was frightened and trembling, continuously begging. He could even feel the chattering of the party attendees below. They certainly were mocking him. Right? Ji Yanqiu decisively used strength to pull the fabric strip and jumped back into the room, the feeling of feet standing on solid ground. Really don't know how good it was. Ji Yanqiu suddenly regretted his life, also no longer making a scene. The male protagonist of the engagement cancellation ceremony didn't appear, also didn't affect the result. Almost no one paid attention to Ji Yanqiu, only me, always concerned about the room where Ji Yanqiu was staying. Of course, also saw Ji Yanqiu almost jump from the building. How could I allow Ji Yanqiu to jump from the building at this critical moment? If he really successfully jumped from the building, today's engagement cancellation I am afraid wouldn't succeed. Even could make my efforts these past days go to waste. Fortunately, I had told the bodyguards in advance, no matter what happens, must ensure Ji Yanqiu's life safety. Sun Yan'an thought I was too kind. At this moment, still concerned about Ji Yanqiu's safety. In an instant, the dislike in her heart toward Ji Yanqiu increased several degrees. Ji Yanqiu had always been willful, even loved her to the point of madness. Such love, even Sun Yan'an felt suffocated. But after all, the two had known each other for many years. Sun Yan'an also didn't want Ji Yanqiu to be hurt. I knew. My weight in Sun Yan'an's heart still wasn't heavy enough, although already more than Ji Yanqiu, but still not enough. I also wanted Ji Yanqiu to experience the taste of life not within one's control. No matter how much he begged, still desperate and helpless. After the party, the matter of the Su family and Ji family canceling the engagement quickly spread everywhere. Ji Yanqiu's treatment was no longer as before. The Ji family didn't only have Ji Yanqiu, the person discarded by Sun Yan'an, no longer had value to exploit. Even the servants no longer cared about him as before. Some young masters who had been bullied by Ji Yanqiu now all gathered to settle scores with Ji Yanqiu. At once, Ji Yanqiu had no time to come and disturb me and Sun Yan'an cultivating our relationship. Therefore, me and Sun Yan'an were together very harmoniously. We went to work and returned together, occasionally chatted in the office, shared our moods. After work, went out together. At night, embraced each other. Sun Yan'an had never felt so comfortable and relaxed. Every day with me was joyful, without endless arguments and baseless jealousy. Sun Yan'an rarely frowned. Not few people in the company could notice. The boss's mood was clearly very good. However, a message popped up. Sun Yan'an's eyebrows immediately furrowed. I've returned to the country. The person named Ji Shuyu had sent such a sentence in Sun Yan'an's close friend group, immediately stirring up 1,000 waves. Messages continuously popped up, all welcoming Ji Shuyu back to the country, even arranging to meet tonight. Go for dinner? Seeing Sun Yan'an long not replying, someone bold called her name. Sun Yan'an's fingertip rested on the screen, typing for a long time. Finally, slowly typed out the word, okay. Sun Yan'an leaned into my embrace. I, of course, saw all the message content. Come with me tonight. Sun Yan'an's fingertip lightly touched my chest, expression hard to read. I nodded, said, okay. I didn't ask who Ji Shuyu was, but I very sensitively realized this Ji Shuyu must be a key figure. Hearing this name should be someone from the Ji family. Just didn't understand why. The Ji family had no news about her. Ji Yanqiu also almost never mentioned this name. Don't know what my sister discovered years ago. Secrets related to Ji Yanqiu that caused Ji Yanqiu to strike fatally at my sister. I unconsciously thought, this Ji Shuyu might be related to that matter. That night, in a private room at the Moonlight Night restaurant, when Sun Yan'an linked arms with me, stepped through the door, the room immediately fell silent. This is my boyfriend, Shen Haoming, she introduced simply. I politely nodded. My eyes swept around the room. People who could play with Sun Yan'an, of course, were all young ladies in high society. I had followed Sun Yan'an for so long. also more or less knew them. Finally, my eyes locked onto one person. That person wore high-end attire. Her appearance in this group couldn't be considered particularly outstanding, but the transcendent aura around her unintentionally separated her from everyone around. Perhaps she was Ji Shuyu. I was led by Sun Yan'an's hand to sit down. Those present were all sophisticated people. Of course, wouldn't say anything disagreeable. Their welcoming attitude toward me was very sincere. Yang Qia's character indeed made many people dislike him. Previously, Sun Yan'an was engaged to him. They also weren't convenient to say. Bad words. Now it's different. My interaction with everyone was generous and appropriate, though not able to be meticulous in every aspect, but at least looked fine. There were several lively people, leading the atmosphere. Just a moment. The room became noisy again. Suddenly, Ji Shuyu said a sentence. Heard you've canceled the engagement with Ji Yanqiu. Changing to the current person doesn't look much better. Ji Shuyu's tone was calm without ripples, making people unable to guess what she was thinking. Isn't it just perfect for you and Ji Yanqiu? One sentence from Sun Yan'an completely made the entire room silent again. Even not few people held their breath, a moment ready to pull these two apart. Hearing Sun Yan'an's words just now, Ji Shuyu suddenly smiled. HMPH, a man like him. Only you could see anything in him. In her tone couldn't hide the disgust and revulsion. I said nothing, but my eyes always paid attention to Ji Shuyu, trying from the dialogue between the two to hear more content. Unfortunately, the two only said this much, said a few sentences, then stopped, seeing me staring at Ji Shuyu. A bit of jealousy arose in Sun Yan'an's heart. One of her hands embraced my waist, the other hand holding a glass of pink liquid, bringing it before me. Try it. The alcohol content isn't high. Don't worry, Sun Yan'an whispered in my ear. I looked a bit playfully at Sun Yan'an, then following Sun Yan'an's hands slowly drank a small sip. The feeling in the mouth was like carbonated water, just a light taste of alcohol. Sour and sweet. The taste wasn't bad. The alcohol content wasn't too high, but I was like being drunk. Face flushed. Body also heated up. I felt my body going soft. No strength left. Lightweight, even from deep within the body transmitted an itchy sensation. I immediately realized I had been drugged. My entire body leaned into Sun Yan'an's embrace, using force to bite my tongue, trying to keep myself sober. Yan'an, I am not feeling well. Take me away. I almost used breath to tell Sun Yan'an. Fortunately, Sun Yan'an promptly discovered the abnormality, directly helping me stand up, with the fastest speed running outside. At the last moment of leaving, still throwing back a sentence, nothing in here is to be touched. I leaned on Sun Yan'an's shoulder, my hands uncontrollably tearing at the clothes on my body. But to stay sober, I tried to bite my lip, almost biting until bleeding. Fingertips also trying to control by digging deep into my palms. Haiming. Sun Yan'an called my name again and again, trying to help me stay sober, continuously squirming on her. She wasn't comfortable either, just not clear what drug I had taken. The urgent matter was to get to the hospital. The unfinished wine glass in the room was also hurriedly sent by Assistant Li for testing. Looking at me beside her drenched in sweat, Sun Yan'an had never felt. The road to the hospital was so long. How many times she almost wanted to tell the driver to stop. Fortunately, we reached the hospital. The test results also quickly came. Sun Yan'an looked at the prominent words on the test paper. Strong aphrodisiac. Her face darkened to the extreme. Investigate immediately for me. I want to know exactly who did this. I absolutely. Assistant Li received the instruction. Immediately went down to arrange people to investigate. Sun Yan'an looked at me sleeping peacefully, hating not being able to grab the troublemaker. To tear apart, if my will was a bit weaker, very likely would have had a scene of undressing right in the room. Just thinking about this possibility, Sun Yan'an was angry beyond control. Who would hate Shen Haoming the most? Sun Yan'an immediately gave an answer. Ji Yanqiu. Just at this moment, Assistant Li also brought back the investigation results. The person in the photo. Sun Yan'an wasn't surprised. Ji Yanqiu only knew petty tactics, nothing beyond destroying others' reputations. He had bought the drug from the black market. Seeing he couldn't command his old subordinates, had to take action himself. Hearing Sun Yan'an and the group would meet at Moonlight Night, Yang Qiu then disguised himself, infiltrated the service staff. Moonlight Night restaurant also had Ji Yanqiu's shares. Of course, could only let him act freely. Ji Yanqiu initially intended to drug Sun Yan'an's glass, then find an opportunity to be intimate with Sun Yan'an, because Sun Yan'an each time came here always had her own glass. But when he saw Sun Yan'an personally choosing, mixing a drink for me, could not control his jealousy. He put double the dose in the drink, watched me drink it with his own eyes, then take effect. But Ji Yanqiu had underestimated my self-control ability. I wasn't as Ji Yanqiu predicted, immediately taking off clothes without caring about image, but always gritting teeth to endure. Seeing Ji Yanqiu's behavior, Sun Yan'an was so angry, directly threw the evidence on the table. She directly had people tie up Ji Yanqiu, locked in an empty room, gave him the drug with double the dose I had taken, leaving him to fend for himself in there. The drug entered his throat, quickly taking effect. Ji Yanqiu himself, originally not a person with strong self-control, soon had removed all clothes, even continuously twisting in the room. However, around 5 hours later, only then someone took Ji Yanqiu out, injected the antidote. Ji Yanqiu's entire body was dirty, covered in sweat, lips also pale, even dry to the point of peeling. completely not seeing the arrogance from before. Su Nianen's methods were still considered light, at least didn't throw him into the crowd. But she had begun to threaten the Ji family. Uncle Ji, if you don't discipline your son well, then don't blame me for not being polite anymore. I don't want to see such a thing happen again. Su Nianen threw all the evidence in front of the stepfather. The old man's face turned red, just feeling completely humiliated. Yes, Yan Chu doesn't understand things. We'll discipline him thoroughly. Not only the stepfather felt humiliated, but also Ji Yangqiu. When he woke up, he discovered the doors and windows were locked. The windows also had thick anti-theft grills installed. Phone and computer, tablet, and other electronic devices were all taken away, only leaving a phone that could only text. He lay on the bed with lifeless eyes, only feeling his whole body burning with pain, especially his face. Ji Yangqiu just felt his self-esteem was completely lost in that empty room, not knowing how many times he had begged, even kneeled down and kowtowed many times. But still, no one came to rescue him. Ji Yangqiu never expected that Su Nianen would treat him so cruelly. The more it was like this, the more jealous he was of me. Why did Shen Haoming not need to do anything? Just pretend to be wronged. Could take everything away from him. Clearly, before these exclusive favors were all for him alone, Ji Yanqiu hated me to the point of grinding his teeth. He didn't know how long he was imprisoned. By the time he was released to appear before everyone, he had become much more obedient. Just his gloomy eyes made people feel like looking once would give nightmares. At this time, I was already with Su Nianen at a party when Ji Yangqiu saw the prayer beads bracelet on my wrist. The bottom of his eyes grew even darker. He quietly followed behind me and Su Nianen, his eyes almost not moving, staring at the prayer beads, feeling someone's gaze. I pretended to casually shake my wrist, then grabbed Su Nianen's hand again. The strong wrist and prayer beads in harmony. Ji Yangqiu stared until his eyes were about to fall out. A little bit more. Ji Yangqiu was still not miserable enough. The intimate interaction between me and Su Nianen stabbed into Ji Yangqiu's eyes. He hurriedly left the party and accidentally at a corner bumped into someone he didn't want to meet. Why running so fast? Ji Shua's tone gentle, but on Ji Yangqiu's body quickly rose several layers of goosebumps. No, nothing. Ji Yangqiu quickly avoided Ji Shua's outstretched hand, frantically left. However, I saw all of this in my eyes. Ji Yangqiu was afraid of Ji Shuyu. This result surprised me very much. Learning from Su Nianen, Ji Shuyu was just a child adopted by the Ji family, initially not valued much, like raising a cat or dog. But Ji Shuyu worked hard with outstanding talent. Previously was Ji Yangqiu's errand runner. Also through that got to know Su Nianen. Just this errand runner wasn't that errand runner. Ji Shuyu, since the day she was adopted into the Ji family, was very ambitious. She didn't want to just be a dog of the Ji family's young master. Therefore, she indulged Ji Yanqiu's evil personality. Let Ji Yangqiu do evil, even praised his behavior, and quietly cleaned up the mess for Ji Yangqiu. If Ji Yangqiu before was just strong-willed and had high possessiveness, then Ji Yangqiu, after being instructed by Ji Shuyu, had become both stupid and evil, purely vicious. My sister Shen Jiwei wasn't the first person to die under Ji Yangqiu's hands, also wasn't the last. I only investigated these fairly simple matters, but couldn't find concrete evidence. The investigation leads stopped at Ji Shuyu. Why did Ji Shuyu go abroad? Why did the relationship between Ji Shuyu and Ji Yangqiu suddenly become so bad, even to the point that Ji Yangqiu feared Ji Shuyu? I couldn't understand. When I wanted to investigate further, was stopped by Su Nianen. Haiming, the matter of, your sister don't investigate anymore. Listen. Su Nianen suddenly said such a sentence, completely shattering all my pretenses. It turned out that Su Nianen had long investigated my past, also roughly understood my purpose in approaching her. I suddenly didn't know how to control the expression on my face. Should I be angry, or should I be embarrassed? This day would come sooner or later. I had long prepared psychologically. Just I didn't think this day would come so quickly. Su Nianen hugged me tightly. In her demeanor, not much blame. Instead, more heartache. I will help you take revenge, but not now. Okay. I was just moved by Su Nianen, but hearing the latter sentence, my heart completely cooled to the bottom. I left Su Nianen's arms. Is it that you can't bear to act against him? My face cold and distant, my eyes looking at Su Nianen with some scrutiny. Su Nianen rarely had somewhat evasive eyes. She was silent for a moment. Actually, in her eyes, Ji Yanqiu, though both stupid and bad, but many things were done under Ji Shuya's instigation, including my sister's death. Ji Yanqiu really had done many bad things to me, but she would also return them to me one by one. Ji Yanqiu was just bad, but hadn't reached the point of deserving death. I will help you take revenge, help you torture him, but he doesn't deserve to dirty your hands. The person you should really take revenge on is Ji Shuyu. The corner of my mouth curved into a sarcastic smile. Raised my chin, indicating Su Nianen to explain. The reason to take revenge on Ji Shuyu. Su Nianen took out a stack of documents, placed them before me, then in a few simple sentences, recounted the past of Ji Shuyu and Ji Yangqiu. Previously, in most people's eyes, Ji Shuyu loved Ji Yangqiu, so she indulged him like that. People thought Ji Shuyu just because of her adopted daughter status, so handed Ji Yanqiu to Su Nianen. Actually, Su Nianen toward Ji Yangqiu also hadn't reached the point of love. Before she thought the title of husband anyone would do. Not much difference. This Ji Yanqiu even helped drive away troublesome men around Su Nianan. Ji Yanqiu was jealous and always did whatever he thought, completely didn't care. Years ago, Ji Yanqiu also bought aphrodisiacs from the black market, prepared to use on Su Nianan. He wasn't sure if the drug would work, so he gave Ji Shuyu a portion to try. At that time, my sister Shen Jiwei was working at the Ji house. Unfortunately, witnessed that improper scene. To prevent Shen Jiwei from revealing everything, Ji Yangqiu seized the moment when no one was paying attention, used an iron shovel in the flower room to knock her unconscious, and Ji Shuyu, after waking up, was extremely disgusted, hating not being able to peel off all the skin on her body to replace it. She didn't want this to spread, so she instigated Ji Yangqiu to hire killers. Ji Yangqiu was also really stupid, his face too panicked, revealing flaws, couldn't kill the person, but was discovered by the stepfather. Therefore, the stepfather planned to take Ji Shuyu abroad that night. Ji Shuyu agreed to go abroad, but also forced Ji Yangqiu to witness his men, beating Shen Jiwei to death, completely disregarding Shen Jiwei's pleas. Certainly before, Ji Yangqiu just followed Ji Shuyu's instigation, ordered his men to deal with people he didn't like. This was the first time he witnessed with his own eyes a person being beaten to death. Then Ji Shuyu ordered people to throw Shen Jiwei's body into the sea, completely destroying all evidence. I also just roughly pieced together from the mouths of Ji family servants. Later, when asking the Ji family servants again, no one would talk anymore. I also don't have concrete evidence, with just my strength, completely unable to topple a big mountain like the Ji family. Knowing this truth, in my heart there wasn't any excitement about knowing the truth. Instead, all powerlessness. My sister was so pitiful, just because of chance, seeing what shouldn't be seen, had to be beaten to death. I hugged Su Nianan tightly, tears already flowing profusely, crying silently, in my eyes full of hatred. But not knowing how to vent, Su Nianan hugged me tightly, trying to give me strength to continue. Ji Yangqiu and Ji Shuyu are both not good people, but you cannot kill them. You still have a future. Cannot dirty your hands. Let me do it. I will handle it well. You rest assured. Su Nianan, word by word, expressed her true thoughts, but I was somewhat hesitant. I didn't know whether to believe or not. The woman in front of me, Su Nianan, also like Ji Yanqiu, from a wealthy background. The education received also similar. I dared not bet whether Su Nianan would firmly stand on my side, because the feelings between us, from the beginning, were all calculated by me. I just wanted to see Ji Yanqiu lose everything he cared about, but I didn't expect that I myself would be the first to lose my heart to Su Nianan. Su Nianan was so excellent, but I couldn't immerse myself. I was sober and rational, chin resting on Su Nianan's shoulder, obediently nodding, as if I would listen to her. But actually in my heart I didn't think so at all. I really didn't have the ability to topple the Ji family, but I also wanted to do something for my sister. After reaching a simple agreement, my life temporarily returned. Su Nianan began to suppress the Ji family, specifically, was suppressing Ji Shuyu and Ji Yanqiu. The Ji group had one line by Ji's father's older brother, and Ji's father's younger brother, 3 lines holding power together. Just the 3 lines managed in different directions. The Ji group had always had endless internal fighting. Ji's father also only had Ji Yanqiu as one child. Also because of this adopted Ji Shuyu. Fortunately, Ji Shuyu was ambitious. After returning to the country, had taken an important position in the Ji group. Su Nianan wanted to avenge Ji Shuyu and Ji Yanqiu. Of course, had to make them lose their proud capital, economic source. After all, Ji Shuyu still wasn't as good as Su Nianan, who had fought in the business world for many years, facing difficulties internally and externally. Ji Shuyu continuously failed. Even the stepfather was also suppressed along with her. The stepfather and Ji Shuyu failed in the company. Ji Yanqiu's life, of course, was not as before. His consumption level had already decreased and decreased even more. Ji Yanqiu, even for a long time, hadn't bought new brand name clothes. Instead, chose some cheaper luxury items to wear. Coincidentally, at this time, I met Ji Yanqiu at the mall. I earned a high salary. In my hand also had Su Nianan's black card. Choosing things completely without looking at the price, Ji Yanqiu saw me so bright, lowered his head, looked at the ordinary average luxury clothes on his body, immediately became furiously angry. Shen Haoming, wild chicken, even if disguised as a phoenix, will still one day be recognized. Don't think using Nianan's money is a way to sleep soundly. Men like you, Nianan has met many. Who knows if tomorrow shall discard you. In Nianan's heart there's only me. You stop wasting effort. You should save some money. Don't let tomorrow have no food to eat. Ji Yanqiu blocked me, talking continuously, non-stop, hating not being able to strip away this unmatched identity of mine. But I wasn't at all provoked by Ji Yanqiu, just calmly a few sounds. Then without hesitation, swiped Su Nianan's black card. The sound of successful payment just emitted. Ji Yanqiu's face darkened. What right do you have to use Nianan's money? Indeed, you're just a white-faced, vainglorious person. I calmly raised my eyebrows. Is that so? Is it because you can't use Su Nianan's money that you're angry here? But I am her boyfriend. These 2 simple sentences completely made Ji Yanqiu angry to the point of a flushed face. He wanted to say something to refute, but what I said was the truth. Ji Yanqiu had no job. The living expenses the Ji family currently provided him had also decreased a large part. He could no longer spend lavishly, and all of this was caused by me. If not for me, Sun Yanan would still be his fiancée now, would still unconditionally pamper him. Be good to him? Ji Yanqi thought more and more angrily, his eyes looking at me also full of resentment. He angrily left, but went to find Ji Shuyu right away. Shuyu was busy with company matters. Seeing the idiot Ji Yangqiu, Ji Shuyu's eyes darkened, but she still politely spoke. What's wrong? So angry. Although Ji Shuyu had asked this, but her eyes never left the documents in her hand. Ji Yanqiu hesitated for a long time before speaking. Ji Shuyu, I want Shen Haoming dead. Hearing this, the pen in Ji Shuyu's hand paused a bit. Her face, originally calm without ripples, suddenly showed a hard-to-detect cold glint. How do you plan to do it? This question made Ji Yangqiu completely not know what to do. Before, there were many people willing to listen to his orders, not wanting to see someone. Just say a word. Give the order and it's done. But now he didn't know how to act. Sister, help me. Ji Yanqiu grabbed Ji Shuyu's hand seriously, his eyes full of difficult-to-hide malice. The feeling of disgust surged again. Ji Shuyu didn't even know how she still maintained her mask. She quietly withdrew her hand. Then, like this, I'll give you a contact. You spend some money for them to help you solve this matter. Receiving Ji Shuyu's answer, Ji Yanqiu was immediately satisfied. Also no longer cared about Ji Shuyu's expression. Happily left Ji Shuyu's office. After Ji Yanqiu left, Ji Shuyu immediately called someone to clean and disinfect the office from top to bottom. I knew Ji Yanqiu had found Ji Shuyu, in my heart also clear. No other than wanting to harm me. This time I intended to give Ji Yanqiu a chance. If not just with Sun Yanan's protection measures, the people Ji Yanqiu found might not really be able to approach me. In a few days, it would be holiday time. Sun Yanan and I planned to visit Sus' parents. Just after work, we went to the mall to choose suitable gifts for Sus' parents. Sun Yanan was busy with work. I also didn't want to bother her, although these things assistants could buy. But after all, it's the thought that counts. I wanted to treat it seriously. Ji Yanqiu knew my itinerary clearly, so he gritted his teeth. Reluctantly sold several brand-name watches, only then had enough money to hire an assassin. Looking at the empty cabinet, Ji Yanqiu just felt his heart bleeding. The assassin was very dedicated, finding the right opportunity to kidnap me. But Ji Yanqiu didn't want me to die so quickly. He wanted Sun Yanan to witness me losing my virginity, having intimacy with other women, looking at my handsome face, combined with this surname. Ji Yanqiu finally remembered someone. That was Shen Jiwei. Shen Jiwei's appearance wasn't bad either, just timid, a bit foolish, not knowing how to be flexible. She was just a gardener recruited by the Ji family, occasionally, and it was such an unremarkable woman who had witnessed with her own eyes the improper scene between him and Ji Shuyu that had always been Ji Yanqiu's humiliation. Moreover, Shen Jiwei was the first person to be tortured to death, dying in front of him. Facing this somewhat familiar face, Ji Yanqiu suddenly generated infinite terror. Actually, I had been awake for a long time and prepared, risking my life. At the moment of being drugged, I had pressed the emergency rescue key on the phone. At the same time, my distress location had been sent to Sun Yanan. Undoubtedly, it was a gamble with life, but I absolutely didn't regret it. Having people secretly follow Ji Shuyu and Ji Yanqiu for a long time, the contact Ji Shuyu gave to Ji Yanqiu basically wasn't anything reliable. The person called an assassin was just when Ji Shuyu was abroad, a pawn under her. He was originally suffering from an incurable disease, this time also just for his wife and children, risking his life to have no worries for the latter half of life. But stupid Ji Yanqiu had heart-originated trust in Ji Shuyu. The money Ji Yanqiu was cheated by the assassin. Half went into the assassin's pocket, half went into Ji Shuyu's pocket. Just Ji Yanqiu didn't know. Ji Shuyu, deliberately. She wanted Ji Yanqiu to commit crimes, best to do some irrevocable things, then be sent to prison. Previously, her hands had been stained with so much blood. Should also find a scapegoat, and Ji Yanqiu was the #1 candidate. He was both stupid and bad, extremely cruel, completely viewing lives as grass, never considered ordinary people as anything. Previously, Ji Shuyu was also just one of them, just she was luckier, was chosen to be Ji Yanqiu's errand runner, and now everything should end. Ji Yanqiu had people set up cameras, pointed directly at me, and told the assassin to strip off my clothes. The assassin himself also had a wife and children. He just wanted to resolve quickly, then die. Fine, if you want to kill someone, then be decisive. What's the point of this game? Are you going to kill or not? The assassin said impatiently, wasting this time. Perhaps the rescue team has already arrived, and you're still here dawdling. What's the rush? I paid the money. I say. What to do? Ji Yanqiu took out unused drugs from his pocket from before, grabbed my chin, slapped me, trying to wake me up. I slowly opened my eyes, deliberately pretending to be confused looking around. My hands and feet were tied, mouth also gagged, face showing a flash of fear. Let me go. Seeing me in such a pitiful state, Ji Yanqiu immediately couldn't suppress his anger. You use this appearance to seduce Nianan. Ji Yanqiu's fingernails scratched across my cheek, leaving several eye-catching red marks. I just need to destroy this face of yours. Destroy you as a person. Nianan will return as before. That's right. You don't very much want to know how your sister died. Ji Yanqiu spoke to this point, as if remembering something fun. I'll tell you. Your sister, Shen Jiwei, died right before my eyes. She even kneeled on the ground wagging her tail like a dog. So miserable. She had no face anymore, kowtowed to me many times, forehead bleeding. Do you know, at that time she also said she still had a younger brother. Couldn't die. Couldn't let this happen. She said absolutely wouldn't speak about that day's events. But what of it? Seeing what shouldn't be seen, should die. Ji Yanqiu word by word, as if describing something very fun. I struggled violently, but the ropes binding my hands and feet tightened more. I growled angrily, like a lion in fury, clearly already roughly understanding the truth of that year. But when I heard Ji Yanqiu self-describing these things, still couldn't control the hatred in my heart. The more it was like this, the more I thought. This opportunity I had waited for a long time, could not give up. On the outside, I angrily struggled, but my hand continuously sent messages to the police. I didn't completely trust Sun Yanan, so I also reported to the SRD. Police. On my hand was an unremarkable ring, but inside the ring hid a tracking device and a micro camera. When I was unconscious, I had turned the small leaf on the ring, pressed the hidden button. Everything now was all being recorded by me. Life must be in one's own hands to be safe. At the same time, Sun Yanan was working when she saw on her phone a call that only rang for a few seconds, and a notification message from an emergency contact. Her heart suddenly slowed down. A bad thought arose. Quickly have people investigate. Where is Shen Haoming now? The people under Sun Yanan immediately got busy. She immediately called Ji Shuyu. Where is Shen Haoming? Sun Yanan's tone was cold to the point of freezing people. However, the person on the other end seemed not to feel it. He is your boyfriend. How would I know? Sun Yanan also roughly knew. Couldn't get information from Ji Shuyu, but this matter definitely had something to do with Ji Shuyu and Ji Yanqiu. About 10 minutes later, the people under Sun Yanan found my whereabouts. At the same time, the police also received the tracking signal and distress call. Very quickly, the two groups of people arrived one after another at the abandoned warehouse where we were. The drug in Ji Yanqiu's hand hadn't even been given to me. It was discovered by these people. Perhaps afraid the mission wouldn't be completed. Couldn't get the next payment. The assassin quickly took rope from his body, tied up Ji Yanqiu. Don't come closer. You can't come closer. Both are in my hands. If you come closer, their lives. The assassin threw Ji Yanqiu at my feet, one foot stepping on the gun in Ji Yanqiu's hand, moving back and forth between Ji Yanqiu and me, perhaps realizing this wasn't safe. So he held a gun in one hand pointing at Ji Yanqiu, the other hand holding a sharp knife, placed against my neck. The cold blade cut through the skin, causing a few drops of blood to seep out. The police and Sun Yanan's people dared not act carelessly. At this moment, Ji Yanqiu on the ground screamed, "Are you crazy? I hired you to kill Shen Haoming, not to kill me. Quickly release me." The assassin coldly looked at Ji Yanqiu shouting on the ground, annoyed in his heart. If not for stupid Ji Yanqiu, perhaps now Shen Haoming would be dead by his hand. Everything would be over. He irritably kicked Ji Yanqiu. But at this moment, Sun Yanan's people secretly approached the assassin. "Don't come closer. The gun in my hand isn't for playing." The assassin's gun pointed toward the ground beside Ji Yanqiu and fired a shot, making Ji Yanqiu scared half to death. However, even hearing the gunshot, I still had to control my body, not to tense up. Otherwise, all efforts would be wasted. My neck was still held at knife point. Just a slight carelessness could cost my life. My eyes stared at the knife, eyelashes trembling nonstop from tension. "Let's do this. Let's play a game," said the assassin as he loaded his gun. Then looked at Sun Yanan with interest. He knew Sun Yanan also heard about her and Ji Yanqiu, and the complicated relationship with me. "Sun Yanan, or how about you choose one from these two people? Whoever you choose, I will release that person. The other one will have to die. How about it? Isn't this game interesting? If you don't choose, then I will kill both. I am not afraid to die. Before dying, having two companions is worth it." The assassin gave Sun Yanan the choice. On one side was a childhood sweetheart. On the other side was the current boyfriend. Seemingly difficult to choose either side. I fearfully closed my eyes. Tears, like a broken string of pearls, falling drop by drop. Anyone who saw would feel extremely sorry for me. This appearance, my mouth was gagged. Couldn't speak. Also couldn't seize the opportunity to live. But Ji Yanqiu on the ground was different. He was only tied by hands and feet. His mouth was still good. He cried, calling towards Sun Yanan. "Nyanan, I know I was wrong. I won't be willful anymore. I will listen to you. Can you save me? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I won't be jealous in the future. Also won't prevent you from finding other men. Whatever kind of man you want, I will help you find. Save me." Ji Yanqiu, to stay alive, almost didn't choose his words. The words he spoke made Sun Yanan instinctively want to frown. Seeing Sun Yanan still not speaking, the assassin lost patience. The knife in his hand patted my handsome face. "What? Can't choose? Then let me choose for you. Or how about dying together?" Suddenly, two gunshots almost simultaneously rang out. But it was discovered that I, who was originally tied to the chair, had somehow escaped, and Ji Yanqiu on the ground was frightened unconscious. It turned out the police had just acted, shooting the assassin's right hand. The gun in the assassin's hand accidentally fired, hitting Ji Yanqiu's leg. Taking advantage of the assassin's painful confusion, the rope tying my hands had long been cut by me with a small blade. I jumped away from the danger zone, then was embraced by Sun Yanan rushing over. Sun Yanan hugged me tightly, her whole body uncontrollably trembling. She messily kissed my face, trying to use this method. "Everything just now even with police protection nearby. Sun Yanan was still anxious and worried. She didn't even dare imagine. If there was one wrong step, I might not have survived. When the kidnapper asked Sun Yanan to choose who, in her head there was only one thought, that was to choose Shen Haoming. The two had been together for so long. All the feelings were real, although she knew. I initially truly had an exploitative mentality. When beside her, when seeing my distress message, Sun Yanan's mind was empty. In her head appeared countless thoughts. No doubt, that was to thoroughly deal with Ji Yangqiu and Ji Shuyu. If not for Ji Yangqiu, her Haoming wouldn't have had to suffer so much. Before she was still too soft-hearted. Thank goodness, you're still here. Sun Yanan kissed my cheek, extremely cherishing. I hugged Sun Yanan tightly. Actually, I was also very afraid. I prepared so much, but there was no perfect way. I was still gambling. Gambling on my weight in Sun Yanan's heart. Gambling on the chance of survival. I had even prepared for the worst scenario. For example, Sun Yanan not seeing the call and distress message in time. For example, the tracking location sent to the police, and the distress signal not being transmitted. For example, the assassin being ruthless, directly acting on me. Although I knew this assassin wasn't professional, even just a substitute found by Ji Shuyu. But the feeling of helplessness when life is not under one's control. I was still very scared, but the more scared, the more I had to stay calm. Previously, my sister had also been helpless like this. I still had to avenge her. Couldn't be discouraged. The answer, Sun Yanan didn't say. I also didn't want to know. I just knew. After this incident passed, Ji Yanqiu definitely wouldn't have an easy life. I had recorded everything just now, including Ji Yanqiu himself admitting he hired someone, actually Ji Shuyu finding a non-professional assassin to help Ji Yanqiu, was clearly showing her stance. She had evidence, pushing everything in the past onto Ji Yanqiu alone. The stepfather might not need a son who only knew how to play, but couldn't do without Ji Shuyu. Currently, Ji Shuyu was the only person who could still fight for them, even if not related by blood. So what, as long as money went into pockets? Then everything was easy to talk about. Under the stepfather's tacit agreement, all criminal charges were borne by Ji Yanqiu alone. Even at this time, there were not a few victims who had been bullied by Ji Yanqiu before. Standing up as witnesses, Ji Yangqiu immediately became like a dog whose family had died, lonely with nowhere to rely on. When just locked up in jail, he still made all kinds of trouble, shouting all kinds of things, declaring he was the young master of the Ji family. Someone would soon come to pick him up, but day after day, Ji Yangqiu not only wasn't picked up, but was also convicted. Life imprisonment. In prison, Ji Yangqiu's life wasn't good at all, even offended not a few people. For someone like Ji Yanqiu, death penalty might be liberation. Life imprisonment meant he had to live a fate worse than death in prison. Ji Yanqiu went to prison. Ji Shuyu, the mastermind, still lived well. How could this be? Sun Yanan consoled me. I completely cut ties with the stepfather's second branch of the Ji family. The main branch and third branch of the Ji family were both happy, even competed for not a few resources and relationships from the stepfather's side. Despite this, Ji Shuyu still barely managed to hold on. I didn't understand Ji Shuyu, also didn't know what to do with Ji Shuyu. Another year to Shen Jiwei's death anniversary. I drove alone to the cemetery, placed a bouquet of chrysanthemums before the tombstone, kneeling on the ground, slowly recounting what had happened over this time. Ji Yangqiu had gone to prison, should be happy at this time, but somehow couldn't feel happy. I didn't let Sun Yanan come along. I don't know why, since after the Ji Yangqiu incident, when facing Sun Yanan, I always had some avoidance. So what exactly was I avoiding? Of course, avoiding my true self. I knew my true self, not as Sun Yanan initially knew. Soft, kind, and resilient. I also had schemes, also calculated others. I partly couldn't distinguish exactly how Sun Yanan liked me. I even had some fear, afraid to know Sun Yanan's answer. Just like that time, I didn't ask Sun Yanan, when having to choose one from two. In her heart, who she actually chose. In my heart, I also didn't have confidence. After all, Sun Yanan was someone I used schemes to steal from Ji Yanqiu's hands. I always clearly understood one thing. As long as Sun Yanan could be stolen once, then she could also be stolen a second time. In this love, I also didn't have enough confidence. I caressed the tombstone of my sister Shen Jiwei, eyes lifelessly looking into the distance. Sister, tell me, should I give up? Love that has mixed with benefits. Is it still pure now? No one could answer me. Sometimes I wanted to tell Sun Yanan, let's break up. I am sorry, but when I touched the prayer beads bracelet on my wrist, I again had some attachment to this relationship. From the beginning, everything I did, actually all had real feelings mixed in, just that I was used to avoiding. Sitting at Shen Jiwei and my parents' graves for a while, not knowing how much time had passed, my whole body cold and stiff, only then left the cemetery. I saw beside my car, parked a very familiar car. In the woman with delicate features standing by the car, silently waiting. When seeing me coming over, Sun Yanan's face was like snow melting, ice thawing, hanging a barely noticeable smile. You're out. Sun Yanan said a not very meaningful sentence, her hand placed on mine, feeling the bone-chilling cold. Her eyebrows immediately furrowed. Why so cold? I smiled, shaking my head. It's okay. We'll warm up in a moment. She opened the car door for me, leaning to let me in first, then quickly got in the car. I've told assistant Li to drive your car back. Now shall we go home? After a few simple sentences, the two again didn't know what to say. Soon Yanan noticed my coldness and distance, couldn't help but guess in her heart. What exactly had happened? Was it because today was the sister's death anniversary, so not happy? Soon Yanan, because of my coldness, had found a reasonable explanation, and silently thought, must continue to suppress Ji Shuyu. That night, I again skillfully avoided Sun Yanan's intimate contact. I hadn't clearly thought through my thoughts, wasn't ready for the final decision, didn't want to continue living in this ambiguity. Fighting with Ji Shuyu was a long battle. She wasn't as easy to deal with as Ji Yangqiu. The days ahead were still long, but I was a bit confused. I turned my back to Sun Yanan, quietly said, Nianan, can you give me a bit more time? Yes, Sun Yanan agreed, but her slender hands still held me tightly in her embrace. She had time to wait for me to think through, get out of the impasse. The next day, at the 1-month birthday party of the Bai family's niece, Sun Yanan and I represented the Su family to attend. I went with Sun Yanan, simple greetings with not a few people, then sat down. When the party was half over, I went to the restroom, just finished washing my hands. Behind stood someone I didn't expect. You trust Sun Yanan that much? How did you reach your current position? Do you remember? There was a first Shen Haoming. There will be a second Shen Haoming. Ji Shuyu leaned against the wall, deliberately spoke as if casually. Hearing this, my hand paused, looking at Ji Shuyu through the mirror. What exactly do you want to say? Alienation. Ji Shuyu slowly came behind me, a small hand placed on my chest, the other hand touching my face, forcing me to turn around. Ji Shuyu came close, whispered in my ear, not bad. You're very smart, just still not enough. I didn't quite understand Ji Shu's meaning, not clear what Ji Shu exactly wanted to do. How did she think this little trick could affect Sun Yanan? The next second, an angry voice rang out. Shen Haoming, what are you doing? Hearing Sun Yanan's voice, I realized the gestures between me and Ji Shuyu were indeed a bit ambiguous, very easy to cause misunderstanding. By reflex, I pushed Ji Shuyu away, face full of disgust. She entangled herself with me, also telling me nonsense. Sun Yanan assessed me from head to toe, confirming I wasn't being bullied. Then one hand grabbed Ji Shuyu's collar. I warn you, don't touch Shen Haoming, otherwise you will know the consequences. Ji Shuyu still displayed calmness, but in her eyes contained endless madness. Sun Yanan was very clear. Ji Shuyu only cared about career, only cared about money. Ji Shuyu feared poverty, couldn't bear days without money. Don't look at her seemingly transcendent aura on the outside, as if nothing concerned her. But in reality, she only cared about money. For other people and things she didn't care. Looking on the surface, of course, was transcendent. But now, the Su family always suppressed Ji Shuyu under the Su family's lead. Other families also vaguely had intentions to boycott Ji Shuyu. Ji Shuyu's private company didn't have uniquely exclusive technology. In competition, didn't have many advantages. The Su family and other families suppressing like this, the small company that had just risen was immediately finished. Seeing money into pocket less and less, Ji Shuyu, of course, wouldn't sit still. She wasn't living well. Also wanted me and Sun Yanan not to be well. Now was just a beginning. Ji Shuyu provoked Sun Yanan after the party. I still remained silent, my eyes many times leaving Sun Yanan. I was thinking how to explain to her what had just happened. But Sun Yanan was also silent like this. She wasn't that she didn't want to ask, specifically what had just happened, but her body was somewhat uncomfortable, stomach rolling, wanting to vomit but couldn't. All 4 limbs slightly soft. If not for lipstick hiding her original lip color, perhaps I would have early discovered her abnormality. Sun Yanan's whole body broke out in cold sweat. She parted her lips, using a whispered voice told me, hospital, and go to the hospital. I saw Sun Yanan's condition wasn't right. Immediately told the driver to change route. After a long time, the test results came out. Sun Yanan was pregnant. Looking at the words on the report, I suddenly felt a bit dizzy. Seeing Sun Yanan wake up, I hurriedly asked how she was feeling, if she still felt okay. Sun Yanan nodded. She had seen the report in my hand. She was pregnant. She pulled my hand, caressed her small belly. At this moment, I felt somewhat unbelievable. Once again having blood-related family. This feeling was so magical. But then looking at Sun Yanan, again didn't know what to do. Would this love continue? Clearly, the baby in the womb had given me the answer. Just I wasn't clear what Sun Yanan exactly thought. Haoming, shall we get married? I will treat you well. Sun Yanan very sincerely held my hand. At this moment, she was no longer like usual high and mighty, the decisive person holding power, but like a young girl just stepping into life. Yes, seeing her like this, I suddenly felt clear. Perhaps now still not clear enough. Sun Yanan loved me, no doubt. I hugged her tightly. The wedding was quickly set, really making Ji Shuyu unable to react in time. She originally thought after the two went home, would have a big argument, even possibly. At this moment, she could take the opportunity to create more misunderstandings between the two. When Sun Yanan was worried about relationship matters, she would make the company advance another level. But Ji Shuyu didn't expect. These two not only didn't argue, but even set the wedding date. But then Ji Shuyu thought of a new idea. At this important moment, Tanyu Group was especially busy. Sun Yanan was busy, almost had no time to care for me. At my most sensitive time, an anonymous person, every day, sent me ambiguous photos of Sun Yanan. At first, they were just some photos taken from wrong angles. Later, clearly could see the intimacy between two people. I tried to tell myself, It was just Ji Shuyu's plan. Absolutely must not fall for the trap. Sun Yanan was pregnant, had more blood-related family, no longer a lonely person. Therefore, no matter what provocative photos and texts the other party sent, always kept silent, pretended like I didn't see, didn't want to trouble myself, so had people arrange those photos and texts in chronological order, packed them up, sent to Sun Yanan. Since it was a matter caused by her, then it should be handled by her. As for me, I enjoyed the goodness that sus parents gave me. Learned not a few arts I hadn't been exposed to before. Sus parents gave me not a little money. Myself also saved some. Even if I left, Sun Yanan could still live normally. And Sun Yanan, besides being busy with Tanyu Group's matters, also collected not a few pieces of evidence about Ji Shuyu. Ji Shuyu worked cleanly. Collection was very difficult, but as long as there was heart, could always find some evidence. Under Sun Yanan's suppression, Ji Shuyu almost jumped up, the company declining day by day. The undercover assistant planted beside Sun Yanan, also slow with no progress. Not even one photo of intimate contact with Sun Yanan could be taken. Ji Shuyu finally made a very impulsive decision. She spent some money, bribed a truck driver, told him to follow Sun Yanan, just needed to find an opportunity to drive into her. The truck drove out of the driving lane, crossed the road, rushed toward the sidewalk, just that the truck driver didn't calculate well. A bit nervous, accidentally hit a stone pillar. Sun Yanan thanks to this escaped disaster, but the next second, a woman wearing a mask and hat, taking advantage of the chaos, pushed her. Sun Yanan, who was pregnant, fell to the ground. Almost immediately hot blood flowed from between her legs. Then Sun Yanan was in so much pain she lost consciousness. In the hospital, I held Sun Yanan's hand tightly, prayed she could overcome this. I heard the doctor say, Sun Yanan lost a lot of blood. Life in critical danger. The baby also might not be born smoothly. I almost stopped breathing, dared not imagine how life would continue without Sun Yanan. Deliver, regardless of what method used, must save my wife. I had full worry in my eyes, but didn't dare say much, afraid to disturb the doctor saving people. In my heart, I don't know how many pleas to heaven I said. I originally didn't believe in these things, but for Sun Yanan, hated not being able to pray to all gods and Buddhas. Ji Shuyu had been caught. Sun Yanan collected enough evidence, but before handing her to the police, I imprisoned her. The pain that Sun Yanan had suffered, she also had to suffer once. A labor pain simulator fixed Ji Shuyu. When she was enduring pain at the highest level, a large man also punched her body punch by punch. The large man controlled very well, not letting her internal organs rupture to death, but the pain absolutely was not lacking. As long as Sun Yanan hadn't woken up for a day, I wouldn't release her for a day. I don't know how long had passed. Sun Yanan and the baby finally safely left the delivery room. I looked at Sun Yanan lying on the bed, pale-faced, in my heart extremely distressed. The result of this distress was, Ji Shuyu had to suffer not a little more pain. Even the company she cared about most, due to her people not managing well, fell into others' trap, was cheated of not a little working capital, until Sun Yanan recovered almost completely. Ji Shuyu only then had a day to see the sunlight again, had become thin to the point of no longer looking human. Face bruised and demeanor also panicked. I held my child, looking at Ji Shuyu so miserable. In my heart, finally had some heartache, but more was heartache for my sister. I looked at Ji Shuyu like this, couldn't help thinking of the dead Shen Jiwei. Sister, finally, I have avenged you. The people who killed you all received deserved punishment. Finally, Ji Shuyu, according to procedure, was sent to prison, meeting Ji Yanchu again. The big stone in my heart finally came down. Could also completely express my thoughts to Sun Yanan. After the two mutually expressed, the relationship became even better. Very soon the wedding between me and Sun Yanan, under everyone's witness, was perfectly held.